You're sitting in your apartment at 2 a.m. Your laptop glows. The screen shows a number, 47 annual revenue. You've made more in 3 months. Your hands shake slightly as you close the tab. Rewind. Month 3. The lecture hall is half empty. 40 seats, 12 students. Your professor is talking about supply curves. You're not listening. Your phone vibrates. Your Shopify dashboard has a notification. Another order. Your thumb moves $247 and you watch the number tick up. Refresh. $294. Your leg bounces under the desk. The professor says, "Anyone?" He's staring at the class. Waiting. Your classmate to the left is taking notes. Neat handwriting. She'll wait for callback. You open it again. $301. After class, your roommate asks, "You coming to dinner?" Can't. Got to handle some business stuff. He nods. He gets it. You spend the next 6 hours. Cost per acquisition down 14%. Your conversion rate is climbing. By midnight, you've made $412. You do the math. That's $12,000 a month if it holds. Your tuition is $8,000 per semester. Your jaw tightens. You're paying for a classroom you don't go. You're paying for lectures you don't need. You're paying to sit in a room while your best friend texts. You don't respond until morning. By then, you've made another $180. Your parents call on Sunday. Your mom asks about classes. You say they're fine. You don't mention that you haven't attended 3 in a row. You don't mention the $5,000 sitting in your... Not yet. The number doesn't feel real enough to speak, but it's real. You know it's real because your hands shake every time you check. But the money keeps coming. Month 5. You're scrolling through a YouTube video. 10 billionaires who dropped out of college. Mark Zuckerberg. The thumbnail shows their faces. You pause on Zuckerberg. Same age as you, except he's worth billions. You click another link. Why your degree doesn't matter anymore. You skim it. The headline alone justifies everything. You screenshot it. You don't send it to anyone. You just keep it. Your business is $7,200 this month. Flat from last month, but still. Your tuition for next semester is due in 6 weeks. $8,000. You do the math 3 times. Each time, the answer stays the same. You're paying. Your mom calls. How are classes? Your father wanted to know. Your jaw tightens. I'll let you know. You don't tell her you've stopped going to 2 of your classes. You don't tell her that last week. Your professor sent an email. Everything okay? You read it 5 times. You deleted it without responding. You open your business dashboard. Refresh. 7,200 and waiting for it to move. It doesn't. You close the app. This is real. The other thing. The classroom, the degree, the plan. The business is what's concrete. The business is what's proof. But that's when the pressure arrives on month 7. Your mom calls on a Tuesday. You're in the middle of optimizing a campaign. You let it ring twice before answering. Hi, honey. Your father and I wanted to talk about spring semester. Registration closes in 3. Your stomach tightens. Yeah. You've been not registering. I'm thinking about it. Silence. You can hear her breathing. Thinking about it? The business is at a critical point. I might take a semester off. Focus on scaling. More silence. Then, you can always go back. It's not a question. It's a statement she needs. You don't correct her. That night, your best friend texts. His internship offer came through. Real company. Real title. You read the message 3 times. You don't respond until morning. Wednesday, your business plateaus. Same as last month. You refresh the dashboard 6 times. The number doesn't move. You close the laptop. You don't open it for 4 hours. When you do, subject line, I noticed you haven't declared your spring courses. Is everything all right? Let's talk. Thursday afternoon, you're at a coffee. Your college friend walks in. She's glowing. New internship. She sees you and waves. You wave back. She comes over. I haven't seen you in forever. Yeah. Been busy with work. I got an offer, by the way. Senior analyst position. Still in school? You nod. You don't mention the business. You don't mention the registration deadline. You don't mention the decision you're not making. She leaves. You sit alone. That night, you open your laptop. The withdrawal form is already pulled up. You've been staring at it for 2 weeks. Registration deadline is tomorrow. You've read every word. You know what it means. Month 8. The point of no return. Your fingers hover over your business account shows 9,200. Stable. Not growing, but stable. You do the math again. Same math you've done 50 times. School costs money. The business makes money. Except it isn't. You think about your mom's voice. You can always go back. You think about your friend's internship offer. You think about the number on your desk. Your hands are cold. A confirmation email arrives. Your withdrawal has been processed. You are no longer enrolled for. Your chest is tight. Your breathing is shallow. You're not a student anymore. The words on the screen make it official. You close the laptop. Your roommate knocks. You coming to get food? Not hungry. He leaves. You sit in the dark for 20 minutes. Your phone buzzes. An email from the registrar. You may re-enroll at any. Re-enroll. As if it's still an option. As if you could just go back. But you know you won't. Not now. Not a line you didn't know was there until you were already. Your identity shifted the moment you hit submit. You're not a student taking time off. You're a dropout, an entrepreneur. There's no safety net anymore. There's only forward. Your phone. Your mom. How did registration go? You stare at the message. Your jaw clenches. You type, I'm taking a semester off. It's the right call. Your mom doesn't push back. Neither does your dad. That's the worst part. They accept. Your dad even asks about revenue numbers. For the first time, he seems you've made the brave choice. Now you have to own it. Month 14. Your business is 9,800 stable. Real companies. Real titles. You scroll through their updates. You don't comment. You don't like the posts. Your best friend texts. You read it 3 times. You don't respond. Busy with work right now. He doesn't push. Nobody pushes anymore. That's when you realize the dropout. The one who took the risk. The one who can't afford to admit you're in the same room. Same desk, same chair, same 4 walls. Your hands are pale from no. Your sleep schedule is inverted. You work when the world sleeps. You sleep when it works. A recruiter emails. Impressive offer. 85,000. You read it twice. Your stomach tight. You have no degree. Your business is your credential now. It's also your cage. You decline politely. Focused on scaling, you write. You don't mention that scaling isn't happening. You don't mention that you're unable to go back to school without losing income. Your mom calls. You both know she hears it. She doesn't ask again, but that's not the worst part. Month 22. You're scrolling through LinkedIn at 4. Your business account shows 11,500. You've stopped checking it obsessively. The number doesn't excite you anymore. It just exists. A connection request arrives. The recruiter from 3 months. She's added a message. We have another role opening up. Senior level. Better compensation. You stare at the message for 10 minutes. You open a new tab. Can you go back to college after dropping out? The answer is always the same. You'd restart as a junior. You'd be 27 when you graduated. Your peers would be senior managers by then. You close the tab. You open your business dashboard instead. Refresh. 11,503s. You watch the number. It doesn't move. You close the app. The recruiter's message is still there. You read it again. Better compensation. You do the benefits. 401k. Actual, you type Thanks for thinking of me. I'm committed to scaling my business. You don't send it. You write it 5 times. You delete it. You type again. Really appreciate the opportunity. Not the right time. You hit send before you think about what you're saying. The response comes within an hour. Understood. Door's always open. You both know it's not. Once you decline, once you commit to the business, and you've just locked it from the inside, your jaw without choosing anything at all. But that's not the worst part. Month 28. You stop talking about the business, not consciously, just gradually. A friend asks how it's going. You say same. You don't mention the plateau. You don't mention anything real. Your best friend texts the group chat. Weekend trip. Everyone's invited. You read it 3 times. You don't respond. An hour later, they plan without you. You watch the messages. You don't join. Your mom asks about your life. You give her nothing. Your dad stopped asking months ago. Here's what happened. Everyone who knows the full story, the numbers, the timeline, and you can feel them knowing. Your college friend posts about her promotion. Senior analyst to senior manager. 2 years out. You see it on Instagram. Your stomach drops. You don't like the post. You don't comment. You just stare at her smiling face and do the math. She's 24. You have a business doing 11 of 5. You have no options. Your jaw tightens. You close the app. That night, your roommate asks, "Nah, working." You can't tell the difference anymore. You don't go out. You don't see people. You don't tell anyone anything. Not because you're ashamed, because admitting the truth, that this was a mistake, that you're trapped, that going back now means and you can't have that. So you disappear instead. Your hands are always cold now. The end. Year 2. You're 24. You do the math on paper this time. Not in your head. On paper, the numbers look different. Going back to school now means starting over. Junior year. 2 more years minimum. Your peers would be senior managers. They'd have health insurance, stock options. They'd have moved twice.